Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I was just playing this thing, man. Guitar here. You know, remember that classic, man, by the OJ's? Remember that? Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Last night, me and my woman. Nice song, man. I be messing around with like taking the old classics
Yeah.
and and doing them on acoustic, man. It's so cool, you know. It was just cool to hear those songs, like
I,
raw and cut to strip down like that. You know what I mean?
and I was a very big fan of MTV Unplugged because
Yeah,
they took away a lot of the noise. But to
yeah,
hear a song acoustic um, is doesn't matter what kind of song, whether it's a rock song or R&B or whatnot. But what a guitar does just
yeah,
lets you
yeah,
listen to the lyrics, feel the singing, and it takes away a lot of the background noise that sometimes, in a sense, is used to distract.
yes. To me, a great song is when you can hear it in its rawest form. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's like, I mean, those older songs just had those strong melodies, man. You could just hear like just bits and pieces of it, man. You could just sing off of that stuff, you know?
yeah,
It- It's crazy. The pandemic has been making me reminisce and going back and just rediscovering all that old stuff, man. It's just a joy, to be able to
well,
do.
I mean, hopefully, before the end, you could give us one or two things because I think that's I think one of the things that concerts, because everything's been shut down, we haven't been able to see you guys, and it'd be good to remind the viewers, just your vocal talents and stuff. I mean, as I said, a lot of
Oh,
people still. Can you imagine when a song like Joy that comes out more than 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, and
yeah,
people
yeah,
still say that that's one of their favorite tracks because not just because of the song, the lyrics, but how it was delivered, and that's a hallmark of a classic
yeah.
song that's test stays the test of time.
It's crazy, Sometimes I still, I mean, like I still got that voice,
Yeah,
It
yeah.
manages, it manages to come out, Joy still, it comes out,
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But but before we get there, it's one of the things that I mentioned with our shows. We always like to start at the beginning because you've had a successful recording career. You have platinums and singing, writing, producing, and it's not everyone who has that dream of getting into music that actually does do it. So we always like to start from the beginning, like where you were from and where you started singing, and then we sort of take our journey that way. So an international audience. So where exactly were you sort of born and raised?
Patterson, New Jersey, where I'm from, in the United States. Um, I started out, actually, I started out as a bass player, and
Okay.
I still can play a little bit too. Let me see if I got some chops here. See if I got some. Still got a little chops, a little bit of
Just
chops.
still a little bit in there.
But I started out as a bass player, and I used to be in a group called IoT. They call themselves. Well, started out with a group called Monk and the Junior Cools. We
Wow.
started out actually playing on like the buckets and stuff like that. I started out originally. I was the bongo player,
Wow.
and then I graduated to the vacuum cleaner because that was the microphone.
Okay.
So yeah, so we were like the. I guess you would say like what was the show? Fat Albert. Fat
Okay.
Albert's. Sort
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And we would set up in the neighborhood on the block and just play, man. People come around and we just try to mimic different guys. And then one Christmas we all made a pact and said we're gonna get some instruments, and so that Christmas our parents got us some instruments and then we learned how to play,
Wow.
and stuff like that. And then just practicing and playing in talent shows. But I was just a bass player. I didn't sing because
Okay.
I could sing, but I was like scared. I was a closet kind of singer. I was scared. So what happened was we got a show Monk and the Junior Cools. No, it was Monk and the Junior Cools, and then we ended up doing well, the band, I don't know, broke up, and me and a couple other guys started another group called IoT, the Image of Truth, and we did a show at a place called the CYO. It was like one of those like after school program type things, like
Okay.
sort of like a community center type.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
And the lead singer quit. And the guys was like, "Hey Lee, you know you can sing, man. You got to pull us out of this jam, man." I was sweating bullets, man. I was scared to death, man. So it was crazy because I used to sing the song "Sarah Smile" by Hall and Oates.
Yeah.
You know, I
Okay.
could sing and play that bass, but I only did it as a joke, you know.
Mm.
So the guys pumped me up and they said, "Hey man, Lee, you got to do this song, man." Yeah, I said, "Okay." I mean, I was scared to death, man. So I did one note, and the girl started screaming. I said, "You know what? I don't like this." And it kind of gave me the confidence, you know, and I started, you know, singing. And I knew back then being a bass player and can sing, that made me more valuable in any group. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you know, I was with the group Image of Truth for a while. We toured back and forth to Canada. We was like a show band and stuff like that.
Canada.
Yeah, we toured from Jersey, because you know from Jersey to Canada is only 6 hours.
Okay.
Ride there for 6 hours. So we would play in a lot of clubs up there. It was a big scene at one time where you could, you know, like cover bands, you know, used to have the Jerry Curls, you know, and all that.
Around what year
You
was
know,
this? Around what year was this, so we can get a sense of what music was happening around the time?
this was like the late 80s, like around 88, 89.
So by
And I
this
was,
time we've had Keith Sweat, we've got Guy blowing up.
yeah, yeah, I was straight out of high school, going right to like Canada, playing in a band and stuff. And me and Chauncey grew up in the same area, you know, me, Chauncey. Eric was like he lived in Englewood, New Jersey, but we all kind of knew each other, you know.
Yeah.
Never sang in church with them, but I did sing in church. Not with them though, you know. I was playing bass in a church band and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and my mom sings, so I got a lot of my singing chops from my mom, you know.
Okay.
One of my god brothers. So anyway, um, how did I start out? How did I become more professional in terms of recording? I was with the group of IoT, and we were touring, and it didn't, you know, after a while, when you're doing cover music, it gets boring, you know, because like I didn't get into it to just be a cover band guy, you know. I got into it because I was inspired by guys like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder,
Wow.
Marvin Gaye, and all these guys, you know.
Yeah.
And
But what covers were you singing? Because people will start asking, what covers were you guys singing? And
because being in a band, you know, you get a chance to sing everything from Michael Jackson to Barry White. You know what I mean?
okay.
So I would do a lot of man, I used to sing everything. I used to have me singing Bryan Adams, from Bryan Adams to Phil Collins to
Okay.
Michael Jackson to Prince. Oh man, can you hear me?
Yeah, much better actually.
Somebody.
Yeah, the volume, the sound actually got much better, clearer.
Oh man. Hello?
Yeah.
Man, this robocall stuff, man. They just come in and get you, man.
But there was something wrong because the sound was just for a minute. The sound got really clear and clear. Is anything? Are you using headphones or something? Or
Yeah, I got my little thing. Is it clear or is it?
it's clear. It was. I think it was almost. Did you take it out or something?
Nah. Did it get? How's it sounding now?
Yeah, we can hear, but it was clearer just for a second when you stopped for a second. So I didn't know if this headphones are taking away some of the clarity.
Is it clear now?
Not as clear as it was. I think it's almost as if you know how it is when if you don't even use.
Okay, it's getting fuzzy, right?
Yeah.
How's that?
No, maybe if you take them out, I don't know if you
You
can
know,
hear.
I can hear you. I'll take the phones off. See, I
Yeah,
got
just
it on let me see, let me do this.
and I'll see if it's clearer.
Okay, retarded. Can you hear me now?
Oh my, yeah, much 100% better. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the okay. We'll just take that out of here then.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Much,
Yeah,
much
so
better.
no, she probably put that on when I'm playing and stuff, But
Yeah.
yeah, so we were talking about who
So
were
you're
my
doing.
influences.
Yeah, you
Who
yeah,
did I cover?
yeah.
I mean, I was singing everything from Rick James was my guy back in
Wow.
the day. I used to like a lot of Rick James, crazy because he played bass and he
Yeah.
sang, and then so it was a lot of things that I got into. I got into everything, man. I was doing everything, man, from Earth, Wind, and Fire to uh, Gap Band, Cameo.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
big. Uh, Babyface and those guys.
The deal, because back in those days, it was bands. It wasn't. Everyone played. From Earth, Wind, Fire, Cameo, Ready for the World. It was very eclectic. It was really, and they put on a show. It wasn't just going in the studio. It was actually a big show, and yeah.
The most amazing thing I ever saw was I went to Madison Square Garden and I saw Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Wow.
Like, it was crazy. When I was like in high school, it tripped me out. I was like, first you hear the music and then you go see them live, and their show
Wow.
was amazing, man. I mean, the whole band disappeared on stage. It was crazy. I was like, what is this? And the music just was incredible, man. So yeah, I mean, I came from a band standpoint. I was in a
Okay.
band. So
Yeah.
in Blackstreet, I'm more like just to sing. A lot of people think I just sing, but I produce, I play, several instruments and stuff like that. And, like now with the pandemic, I get a chance to do a lot
Yeah.
of production. I work with some guys out there, Stephen Clark, Goldmine Records, a guy by the name of C.J. Lewis. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He had a
No.
song called Rough and Smooth. His name is C.J. Lewis. He's from London.
Okay. No. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be sure. You know what happens is that I get these names dropped, and then I get people emailing me or sending me the videos, YouTube videos of this is who he was talking about. So, but I
Yeah.
guess what I wanted to find out is because you were touring, going to Canada and stuff. Did you make it settle in your mind that you were actually going to go and become a recording star, or was it just passing away time?
Well, okay, let me tell you the story. Okay, we were.
Hello.
In Canada,
Oh, okay. Oh no, it froze just when you said, "Let me tell you the story." It just froze.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah, I can hear
okay.
you. The whole video just stopped, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, anyway, just to kind of give you an idea how that whole Canada scene was, it was such a great atmosphere with different groups. We're playing around the same town with different clubs with like guys like Kinky Fox, which is the same group that Johnny Kemp was in that group, Kinky
Oh,
Fox.
okay.
Yeah, so just got paid, all that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and so that kind of like grew. I got really good at being an entertainer, and understanding how to work crowds and just getting better at my craft. But after a while, you get bored, singing other people's music. Then you start to, because I didn't really get into it just to sing other people's music.
Yeah.
I got into it to do my own thing. So I quit the group. Just one day I just said, "Hey guys, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to make my own music." So I went around. I came off the road, and I knew a lot of different producers. So I would just go to their house and sing background for them. And this one producer, he knew Chauncey, which I knew Chauncey, but we weren't friends or anything at that time.
Yeah.
So Chauncey was doing some work with a guy in the studio, and the same particular guy that had the studio tricked me into coming doing some studio work for him.
And I was supposed to get some free studio time, but it never led to that. I would sing all his demos, and Chauncey heard me singing the demos, and I ended up helping Chauncey on some of his backgrounds and working with stuff like that. So what happened was this particular producer, I believe Chauncey set him up so he can get an audition with Teddy.
Okay.
So now, mind you, my voice was on all his demos, you know. So when Teddy heard his work, he said, I really don't like the songs, but who's the guy singing? And Chauncey said, that's my man Levi, man, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I got to Blackstreet. And that was my first record deal, actually.
But then how soon after you got off the road and quit the group did this sort of studio to that this whole thing happen?
Okay, well, I was on the road, man. Let me see. I was on the road for like 10 months.
Yeah.
We used to go up there like 10 months out of the year. So I would say when I got off the road.
And you quit the group?
When I quit the group, it took me about a year and a half. Because I got off the road and got a job, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
got a job, and but I kept, you know, playing on the weekends sometime with different guys sitting in, you know, and I would do the studio thing. So it took about, I would say about a year and a half.
How did this working in the studio back in those days, how did that sort of help? Because if you've been on the road and doing a lot of live stuff, what was there mass difference recording in a studio?
Oh yes, man. I mean, it's nothing like having something in your head and then you can actually go and manifest that, you know, and hear it back. You know, that was incredible. I mean, I started out, I kind of played around with recording back in the day. I used to have the 2 tape players and have one playing here, record something on this one, and then play it back and record the next part on this one. So I understood what multi-tracking was, you know.
Yeah.
But going into a bigger studio, I can hear it at its entirety, you know, it was incredible.
Wow.
So, I mean, even though this producer thought he was swindling me out of some time or whatever, he was tricking me, because I never got paid. I didn't care. The experience was great for me, you know, because I got to see how I sound in the studio, how to work vocals and different things like that. But I learned a lot from different people, you know, especially when I got in Blackstreet with guys like Leon Silvers.
Okay. Before we jump into that, so what year was it that this sort of audition stuff happened with Teddy, that Chauncey sort of?
Believe it or not, this happened like right at like 1992 going into 93. It's like, so I was off the road for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I stopped. I was in a band in 1990, 91, and I quit in 92. So right around 92, 93 was when I got in Blackstreet. And then we recorded the album. The album came out in 94, you know.
But I distinctly see your name on the Bobby album.
Bobby Brown, yeah. Okay, well, Bobby Brown. Oh, that's good. You did your homework, man.
Look, it's one of my top 3 albums. So I was just playing one night this evening. So I remember seeing you guys, Marsha McCullough and Mary Brown, and all you guys singing backgrounds, and it was probably one of Teddy's best works on those 7 tracks on the Bobby album. But so did he call you?
Oh man, let me tell you. So I was, when I got in the group, it took us about, like almost a year before we started really doing anything. I would come down and, Ted just wanted to make sure. Well, let me give you that whole process.
Yeah, start from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. Let me do this right so you can get the whole perspective here. Yeah. Okay. So when I got in the group, okay, I had to actually audition.
Okay.
Chauncey was already down here. He'll probably have to tell you his story, how him and Teddy kind of connect.
Yeah.
But he was already in Virginia. I'm still in Jersey. Yeah. So I would drive, like, I still had a gig. I used to play at this club called Zena's every Sunday night with this band called Flight 2. And I would leave the gig from there like 3 a.m, drive 6 hours to Virginia, just so I could be there, And so long story short, Teddy wanted to put, he was talking about putting together a group. Chauncey and him was talking about putting together a group. He said, well, look, man, you know any guys? So Chauncey said, I know this guy named Levi. Okay, so, but then at the same time, this guy, the producer dude, I don't want to name his name because he's a different kind of guy. But that, let's say the producer guy, he also came down and he was playing Teddy his work.
Yeah.
And Chauncey already knew who I was because I helped him out on some things. So when he played the music, Teddy heard the music, said, I don't really like the song, but who's the guy singing? And then they called me up. In fact, they said, hey, Levi, man, you want to be in this, da-da-da-da. So Teddy sent his brother to come and pick me up. And we drove all the way down to Virginia. And it was another dude. They were auditioning or something like that. And so they put us both in a hotel, me and this other guy that was auditioning. So I didn't sleep all night because I'm like, look. So I told the guy, you know, I said, listen, I don't know what's going on, but we both, I guess we got to compete right here. But I'm telling you, I'm not leaving Virginia losing this job, man. This job, this was, hey, man, may the best man win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, the next day, we go to the studio. They sent the van to pick us up from the hotel. We go to the studio. Chauncey is there. A couple of the engineers were there. And
which ones? Because we know a lot of them. Was it John Marie?
John Marie. John Marie was there then.
Yeah.
Now I got a story about Servin. Me and Servin is really tight.
Okay.
John Marie, Franklin Grant.
Franklin Grant, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was somebody else who was working the desk. I can't remember.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm sitting out front of I'm in front of the studio. We had a lake on the side of the studio at the time, and I'm just looking at the lake, and then I see Teddy pulls up on a motorcycle.
Was that your first time seeing him?
So you know, I'm kind of nervous, you know. So
was
I'm
that
not
your first
trying
time
to like.
seeing him?
Just,
was that your first time?
I've
seeing
him before, but I'm
okay.
Seen him at the studio, so I'm just chilling because I don't want to be like, hey, what's happening, man? You know. So I'm just sitting on the side. He walks in the studio. I'm still outside. So the other guy that was auditioning, he was inside. And I'm real, you know, I'm kind of guy, when I go in a room, I'm not the guy to be making all this noise. I'm a pretty quiet dude. So this guy was in there talking, so I'm thinking maybe he got the job, you know. So Teddy comes out of the studio. He looks at me, hey, what's happening, man? This and that. I said, oh, what's up? And he shakes his head. He said, yeah, okay, all right. So, yeah, I'm thinking about putting together this group. He said, okay, all right. And then he walks back in. So then I walk in, and he got this living room with the big screen TV, and we're sitting down, and he comes sitting between me and the other guy. He said, yeah, man, well, he said it again. Yeah, I'm really trying to put this group together, man. I think one of you guys might be okay. And then he got up. So I'm thinking, what's happening? So I get up, I go to the bathroom, right? I come out and I see the other guy at the door with his suitcase. So then Chauncey comes in. No, let's say the producer guy comes in and say, hey, look, Teddy wants you for the group. You just need to cut your mustache. So, I don't know what I was doing there, man. I had a mustache.
Okay.
I said, absolutely. The next day, we went and got that cut off. You know what I mean? And he said, I got the job. So, I mean, I didn't even really sing nothing right then and there. But then after that, we all got in the studio room. We were singing and blending and doing stuff. And that was it. And after that, the first project I sang on background was Bobby Brown.
Okay. Yeah, but it's so. Yeah, I mean, I think because that's such a iconic album and with production, by the time you auditioned for the group, had they already started doing any work on the album, or did you just start? Were you there before it even?
I mean, I was there. We didn't even have the name Blackstreet.
Oh no,
You
I'm
know,
talking about the Bobby album. So were you there?
oh, Bobby album.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was there from the well, I think. Well, I didn't hear the Babyface stuff.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
when
Teddy
Bobby
stuff.
came down, no, Teddy was doing that stuff from scratch, man. It was crazy, man. When he did that, Two Can Play This Game. Oh, and then we had Joe Stone Street. I forgot to mention
yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
I met Joe when I got in the group.
Okay.
You know, so it was he's a different kind of guy. Man. I love
Yeah.
that guy. There's a whole lot of stories with that guy.
Well, we're
So
gonna go.
anyway,
Yeah.
so I think the first song was Two Can Play That Game. And so he was working on a track, and then he had us come in and gave us the parts, man. And it was incredible, man. I was like, wow, I went straight from cover band to Bobby Brown's album. You know what I mean?
But what was it like though? Because you got Teddy at his prime. He had just come off the Michael stuff, and he had his crew all up there in his new studio. But what was it like for you watching, the guy from Guy and Michael Jackson in the studio back in those early days?
Man, let me tell you something, man. I still had my gig in Jersey. So he would be working. So he didn't need us at the time. So I would shoot back to Jersey, drive back to Jersey, do the gig, get a little sleep, get back in the car, drive back down there, just in time for him to start back out another song or whatever. So like I never left, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, watching him do vocals and production-wise, he was a beast, man. You know, I mean, you can't take nothing away from him, I mean, in terms of production and coming up with that sound and stuff like that. But there's a lot of other people that I think should get credit too, like Bernard Bell. Yeah. Bernard Bell, very prolific musicians, writer. And it's a lot of different people like Tyrone Fine. Yeah, he was very instrumental and really that drum shaker thing, turning that whole song around, man, because the original beat was a little different.
Yeah, but before we get to Rum Shaker, I guess it was what was the Bobby album? So you like to play this game? So did anyone before Bobby got there who had to sing the lead part, or was it mainly the chorus? Or
yeah, it was Chauncey did some of the I guess you said the demo tracks.
Yeah,
and Street did some of the demo tracks, and a lot of times Bobby wouldn't show up to the studio, man. This guy, man, he was a mess, man. But we come in and knock it down, man. He was a mess, man. But yeah, we would do a lot of the demo stuff.
Yeah.
For,
what was it like when you finally did meet Bobby? I mean, what did he come in? What was it like?
Let me see. Where should I start? Bobby was Bobby Brown, He was Bobby Brown. He was a fun guy to be with, man. It's just that, like, it's like this, right? Remember back in the day, I don't know if your parents ever told you. My father always told me this: if you go to a club and people start drinking a lot of white liquor, get out of there early.
Yeah, okay.
So was hanging out with Bobby, and let's put it like there was a lot of white liquor going on, and I got out early.
Oh, goodness.
He was a cool guy, man. I mean, watching him work, man, he was intense, and that was fun, and being a part of that project was a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of fun doing a lot of stuff, man,
Because I spoke in the studio. And I spoke with Eric, and he said back in the day he was part of the Flex, and Low Styles Jr. played a demo of the Bobby album, and they realized, man, it was just off the chain, just with the production and stuff, and so that was a really It didn't do as well, mainly because Bobby wasn't able to promote it as he probably could have, but the album, I mean, Teddy got nominated for Producer of the Year Grammy off of that album alone.
Yeah.
But you guys are just singing the backgrounds, and I think the backgrounds were just as good as the front, because as I said, you had the amazing harmonies. As I said, you had the girls from Eminem, yourself, and who else was doing the backgrounds and stuff?
I I think Big Bub did some work on something.
Yeah, okay, I see his name down there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty much me, Chauncey, Joe Stone Street. I think Bub did some stuff, you know, and I want to say Aaron might have did something. I'm not sure because we weren't in the same sessions a lot of time. You know?
Okay.
I used to come out late at night.
Okay.
Reason why, you know, it's a I don't know if you know that it's a trick when you come late at night you get more money. So you know,
Okay.
come late at night, make that check bigger, you know.
Okay.
But you know,
so you guys,
learn a little something.
So when you guys finished the Bobby album, was it the case where some of the tracks that didn't make the album was some of the early stuff for Blackstreet?
Yeah. What song was that? Was it Happy Home? No. Okay, we did some songs that didn't make the first album, but they were great. Like the song we had, I Don't Want to Be Alone. I don't want to be alone, baby. I don't know if you heard that one.
No.
Oh man, we did 32 songs for that album, that first album, man.
Wow, 32.
32 songs, man. Yeah, 32 songs, man. And when we first put out the demo, if you can find anybody that got a cassette of the demo, the first Blackstreet demo, all 32 songs are up there.
Wow.
That's a rare. If you can find that, it's rare, man.
Would any of the engineers have it? Would any of the engineers have it, John?
John Marie probably got a lot of stuff. Him and Serban.
Okay.
Yeah, John Marie.
I'll hit up John and Axel. But 32
when
tracks.
You hit him, just say, we used to call him Rumpelstiltskin. So when he said, "Hey,"
yeah, Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin. John's a cool guy, man.
Yeah, 32 tracks. Wow. And what was the reason for making so many tracks?
Well, to my knowledge, I think Teddy wanted to see how the DJs just let them pick stuff, and that's what we did. We actually put the album out there and let radio programming and different DJs pick the songs, man. And that's what kind of made that first album great to me, you know, because it was more like we put our heart and soul into it, and we also let the people involved, you know, let the DJs and stuff like that. They kind of played a big part of that, you know.
Now, before the first album comes out, you guys do "Baby Be Mine" on the CB4 soundtrack. Oh, the CB3, I can't remember.
Yeah, that was cool. CB4.
CB4, okay.
Yeah, it was CB4. Chris Rock, man, that's a funny guy. Man. We had a lot of fun doing that.
So when you guys
had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, because that's the only time that we did see Joseph Stone Street leading, singing the vocals, and then sadly he didn't make the album, the band when the main album came out. But so when you put out the baby,
it was a lot going on. You're cutting off right now.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
when
can hear you now.
Yeah. So when so I mean, because a lot of us, I'm a big fan of Basic Black, Dizzo, and Daryl, and the one person that I think could match him vocally was Stone Street. Just the way he's the way he was able to.
Joe Stone Street is probably one of the best singers I've ever heard. When I tell you, man, I seen that guy do "Baby Be Mine." He literally went in and did that one take, man.
Sprague told me that.
He went in the studio.
Yeah, Sprague and Mucho would tell you that, that they'll do it one take. Sprague said that he was the most impressive person he had ever seen in a studio, that he'll do it one take and that'll be it.
Beast. He's a different kind of guy, man.
Yeah.
He was fighting a lot of demons, but he was a good guy. Great heart, man.
Yeah.
Me and him were real tight,
Wow.
I learned a lot from him. Vocal styling and different things. I learned a lot from Dave Hollister too. Dave was, me and him was real, we still cool, It's probably what people think. Me and Dave still cool,
Yeah, but before, I guess people definitely would like to understand the, because I think the only good thing about Baby Be Mine stuff is that you got it was a video. When I say dark, is that you couldn't see everyone's face. So by the time the album comes out, most people hadn't really seen Stone Street enough to remember that he wasn't in the main group. So by the time Dave shows up, you don't really notice the difference. How was it like for yourself singing with Stone Street, then realizing that there were things that that caused him to have to leave the group, and then here comes Dave? Did you think, oh, it's not gonna work as we had anticipated?
Nah, because I think, well, he was fighting a lot of. It was a lot of stuff. I don't want to tell his whole story.
No, I think we've heard bits, but it's most of the dynamics of when he leaves, how you might have felt like, oh man, this vocal talent is leaving the group.
Of course, of course, man. It was weird. It just felt weird, man. Because me and him, we roomed together. We was tight like that. All of us, me, him, and Chauncey. But because of certain things, it kind of probably was for the better. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real like that, because it's one thing to be in the studio recording, but then you had to take that same stuff and go live and promote it. And when certain things don't add up, or certain people don't form the right way, they don't conform to what we got to do the right way, it makes it difficult, and I think it got a little difficult in that department. So I think that's what, and some other stuff that made it that he had to leave, but
yeah,
I think overall it was probably from a PR standpoint, it wouldn't have worked out.
How fun the recording of the album was it before he had to leave?
Man, we was pretty much almost done. I mean, we were pretty much almost done with the album. And then when Dave came, there were some songs that we got rid of. That I think that's the reason why some of those songs, like I Don't Want to Be Alone, didn't make the album. And when Dave came, we just redid Baby Be Mine, and that's when Before I Let Go came into play. And Joy came, because we had most those songs in the album. We didn't have those songs yet. It was like we had got up to I think it was Happy Home, and then Joy came in there. Well, actually, Joy was like those were some of the last songs to come to the album, because when they brought the song, all the rest of the guys were like, "Hey, man, Joy was originally fast when we first heard it. It was a Michael Jackson song when I first heard it. I was like, man, this is joy, joy, joy. It's fast, man. So I played guitar, so I went home and messed with the acoustic, brought it back to the studio and said, hey, what do you think of that? And they said, yeah, let's do it like that. Bam. So it went slow.
Oh, but then how was the first version of it? So because I think most of us haven't heard the Michael voice, all we can hear was the one that you guys had on the album.
Now, the first version of Joy was fast. It was like a disco version of something. Joy, joy, joy. That girl, joy. Yeah, joy, joy. It was fast. And then we had to slow that down and put that sweetness on it,
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't get credit for it, but, playing guitar and stuff. But it's okay, still.
Oh. But do you play the acoustic version of it when you guys go on your show? I mean, do you pick up the guitar and play, or someone else plays and you sing?
No, because it's so vocal intensive, sometimes it's hard. You can't, you know what I mean? But I managed to do it sometime. We're thinking about incorporating that in our show, where I get to play with the guitar and do it. But it's a little different. You can't finesse the song with the guitar in your hand.
Okay. But then Ed Sheeran, all the other sort of the pop rock guys seem to be able to pull it off.
Oh, I could do it.
And Babyface does it quite a bit. He showed it on Versus.
Oh yeah, I could do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So who was originally supposed to sing Joy then when the song came out? How did that decision come about? Who sings what?
Well, they immediately he immediately said, Levi gonna sing this song, man. I mean, it came to the table. Tammy Lucas
Oh, Tam.
did a lot of the demo work. You know, she
Ah,
pretty much co-wrote it. And Michael and Teddy and me, but I didn't get my credit. It's okay though. And originally it was supposed, you know, it was original Michael song. It was a song that he did for the Dangerous album
yeah.
that didn't make the album. And I think we needed like 2 more songs, and he brought that in, and we worked it, and it was like magic, man. You know, it's like magic, man.
And
I love it.
I think one of the things that we noticed about Blackstreet was the fact that all of you guys had songs. It wasn't a case where, let's say, like a Jodeci or any of these other groups where it was one lead singer and everyone just sings back up. But you guys all had your spots and you released singles that featured each and every one of you. Was that a conscious decision at the time, or what was your thoughts?
Yes, that was the conscious decision that Teddy wanted. He wanted something different from Guy, because if you notice with Guy, it was Aaron. And a lot of times when you have one singer, it's really rough on that one guy because he got to be on every night. You know what I mean? And I think his experience with Guy, with them going on the road and stuff like that, and a lot of times Aaron's voice would give out or whatever, you know. And so by having multiple singers, you know, and plus when you got guys that can sing everybody, I could sing all the other guys' parts as well as all of us. We can all switch around. Mark, well, this combination here, this is the best of both worlds. This is the best of both worlds, man. Mark, myself, Eric, Chauncey, man, we can literally switch up and sing each other's songs. You know, with the exception of "Never Gonna Let You Go." I'm not messing with that song.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's Rock's song.
I'm not touching that song, man.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Middleton's song. That's his song.
But then, okay, so here you are. So this was your first record deal. I mean, I mean, from doing a cover band to going straight into Blackstreet, you know, with the legendary Teddy. Um, you know, that's quite a big sort of jump in the. How did the family take the set of sudden shot to fame?
Oh man, I was like Michael Jackson, man. Now it was incredible. It was a dream come true, you know. And I had to kind of it was an adjustment, you know what I mean? Because I kind of prepared myself for stuff like that. So I think the only weird thing was my expectation of the music business, you know, was a little clouded. You know what I mean? Once I got there and I saw, you know what people say, what's the saying? The grass being good on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, when I got to the grass, it didn't look quite like good on that side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was to me, it was the only weird part, you know, but it made it weird, you know, because I started seeing things that it's like, wow. You know, it took the fun out of a lot of it.
Yeah.
The music was the thing. And you know, when it was fresh, you just got the deal and everything. And, you know, all your friends seeing you. That was the beauty of that. That was the good time, you know.
Yeah.
When all my friends saw me, especially my guys, the old guys from the group.
Oh,
the
yeah,
guys that I started out with on the corner with the cans and, you know, my first bass guitar, my buddies I went to school with, and all my high school friends. And oh man, that right there was something, you know, and it was an inspiration to a lot of other guys too from the neighborhood, you know.
Yeah.
You know, to see a guy that started, you know, from the dirt, man, and then made it, you know, I'm on Soul Train. You know what I mean? That was something, man. Like my aunt, I got an aunt, she's old school. She just passed this summer.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Now I did MTV.
Yeah.
Did David Letterman, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not making it big to her. to her, that don't mean anything until you do Soul Train. She's from that.
Oh,
so, let me tell you a story, right? So I'm at my sister's house, right? My sister lived downstairs from my aunt. And so I'm over her house. And, Soul Train is pre-recorded. Like you come and you tape it, and then they'll play it like maybe a month later. Yeah. So we was on Soul Train. We shot the whole part we did Before I Let Go. I think it was in Booty Call and Joy. So I'm down at my sister's house. And my aunt comes, she ran downstairs. She said, "Hey, you're on Soul Train. You made it big." so it's funny. So she said, "But how are you sitting here and you're on the TV?" I said, "Auntie, that's the magic of TV." I said, they pre-recorded. She never understood it. She thought everything was live.
It was live, yeah.
That right there, that was an awesome moment for me. That right there meant more to me than a lot of things, man. And my mom. And then having my mom come to a concert, right? So now my mom and my aunt is at the concert. Somehow they managed to get their way up to the front of the stage, sort of like, and like these girls screaming and stuff. And I'm looking out there and I'm seeing my mom going like this. What are you doing, man?
Oh,
but that right there that was great, man. I mean, to see her, because she seen, my mom was like one of my biggest supporters, man.
Yeah.
That was like seeing, her investment paid off. You know.
Yeah. But then but then also the first album critically was really a success, and it had a very different range, and it was not like anything else that was out there.
No.
It was in a very different lane from what Jodeci were doing, from what Intro were doing, or anyone else, and it went platinum plus. Did you were you guys, I wouldn't say surprised, but the success you guys had off the back, brand new group, I don't know how much of that was Teddy Riley having the name and people thinking, oh, let's see what he's coming out with, or that the music itself standing on its own.
Well, let's put it like this. Having Teddy produce it sure didn't hurt. It sure didn't hurt. Yeah, a lot of that came off of course, he had the popularity at the time. I mean, coming off of the Guy situation.
Yeah.
What's those guys, Tony Thompson and those guys.
The High Five, Michael Jackson, Yeah,
he had the Midas touch at the moment, and we were right there in the mix. So we kind of like helped change. I want to say took his sound to another level. You know what I'm saying? And which set up the other level album.
Yeah, we'll get there. But so
you and Mark go through this all the time, man.
Yeah, but then as I said, the first track was Booty Call, which was okay. It didn't do it was okay. It wasn't until Before I Let You Go came out, the video with Omar Epps, and I can't remember the other lady in the video, and that was like, and that was the slow song that simmered up the charts and really just off of the back of that. Then the thing is, the other tracks, like I Like the Way You Work.
Now No Diggity came from that. I Like the Way You Work.
Okay.
The original track, I Like the Way You Work, and LL Cool J did a remix with us of that.
Oh.
And that hook came from LL Cool J. LL Cool J did I Like the Way You Work, Girl, No Diggity. I got to bag it up.
Wow.
LL Cool J. Yeah, that's where that came from. That was the original track. We did because we're gonna come out with that as a single. And a lot of times what Teddy does is when he do singles, he like to do the remixes at the same time. So we had LL Cool J come down and do the rap. He was doing the rap on that, the remix of that song. And that's
Did that get released?
Never got released.
Maybe that's why. Because I would have heard that, because
I do have a copy of it though. Somewhere.
Oh goodness. But back in those days, you guys would have because my favorite version of Joy was the one with the Keith Murray sample on the
Yeah,
back of it.
yeah,
The Most Beautiful Girl, just like
yeah.
that, and that was my favorite version of Joy. And the video was really good too.
Yeah, yeah. That was my daughter, man. My daughter's like,
Okay.
she was a baby. Yeah, man. That was, and all our daughters was in that video.
Yeah,
Man.
that's that. Yeah, that. Yeah, it was. And I think I like the fact he had the orchestra out there and stuff. It actually was a throwback to Let's Chill. It had that sort of feel to it. So, and it really, yeah,
Yeah, it was. We used a 30-piece orchestra, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean
Shot that in Charlie Chapman's sound stage where he used to do
wow.
all the little movies at. And yeah, big shout out to Jeremy Lubbock. He was the director.
The conductor, yeah, yeah, yeah. He used him
He's a
quite a
bad
bit.
guy.
Yeah, he used him quite a bit. So then, did you guys get to do a lot of touring off the back of the album?
Yes, man. Wow. Yeah, man. We toured, man. We went all through Europe, man, Germany. But I gotta say, we're touring more though now than we did back then, though, because
Wow.
Teddy had so many obligations. Like at one point, we did Japan without Teddy one time because he had to do Michael Jackson, and it went well. It went well because when we came home, it got crazy, but it was great.
Okay, okay. So you did all
So
this tour. You did all these tours, and then um, they get ready for doing another level two, another level, and then we
I,
find
I
out.
didn't catch. I didn't catch the whole question. You kind of
No,
broke
no.
up.
So you guys, the album, as I say, goes platinum plus. Singles are big, and you guys then come back from the tour and get ready to start working on another level. But then you seem to you and Dave leave the group, and we see Mark and Eric.
I walked. I walked away from the group. A lot of people try to say, "Oh, we kicked Levi out." Nah, we did Japan, and it was a lot of stuff going on. A lot of, the one that's that side I was telling you about in the music business. What I didn't like. I didn't get into it for that, so I just never came back. Man, I just left, and I think Dave did the same thing, and of course they had. I don't know if it was an intentional thing to have them come. Well, what happened was Chauncey automatically knew Eric, so he got Eric in the group. And I don't know what was the situation with Mark and Teddy and how that worked out, but obviously they got him in the group. And I know I know them, but then I went on and did a solo thing, and Dave went and did a solo thing, and I had fun.
Yeah. So I guess and then this way we want to get back to the part of the actual business side of the music industry. I was talking to somebody recently, and I said that if you were an NBA player, or if you played football or anything, you've got your talent. Your team gives you a guaranteed contract, and you get bonuses because they want to protect the assets because you're a good player. It's only the music industry that has amazing talent that seems to say we're going to rob you blind and take away the joy that makes you creative. And it's very strange because if you played football, you'd get your advances, you get everything. You
Right.
sing, you do, or you play. Even if you're an actor, they make sure they pay you. But if you sing, it just seems different. And
Well,
I that the business.
well,
Yeah.
if you understand, if you kind of go back in time, the music business was built on some shady individuals. You know what I mean? So, I believe it or not, before I got the deal with Teddy, before I got in the group, a lot of guys that I knew advised me. They said, "Hey, man, you sure you want to get in that group, man? Because he's gonna get you. I mean, he's gonna screw you. This is the word." And I said to myself, "Well, let me look at that. I can stay here, be in a cover band, and be this guy here, or I can go here, get screwed up here, and hopefully hopefully I can land on my feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the chance I took. Did I get screwed? I wouldn't say. Was it the greatest thing? The greatest thing was meeting the guys I'm with now, the music, traveling the world. I made some money, not the money I wanted, what I should have gotten, but and I'm being positive about it.
Yeah.
It was some dark. It was some darkness there, But I just vowed to not do a lot of. I don't like to say a lot of negative things, but
No.
keeping it real for the fans and people, up and coming music, artists. You just be true to yourself, man, and don't get caught up in the fame thing, because I think what happens with people coming into business, it's a visual thing. You see videos, you see all these made up things like these cars, the girls and all that stuff, and it's an attraction, But you got to understand this business. It's the business of music, not the music business.
Yeah.
The good thing was I did understand that coming in. So that was one of the reasons why I walked, because I said, I saw some things and I said, well, before I go to the point of being like this madman, let me just walk.
Yeah.
And rebuild, because I understand the business. I knew how to do certain things.
Yeah.
And God gave me this talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. He gave me this talent. Can't nobody. It's not to be controlled well, if I'm going to use my talent with somebody, I just need to get paid. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. But it was. We had some dark times, but I had a lot of fun doing my solo thing. It was
but I wanted to get to that because you what year did you leave the group, Shirley? So we can get the timing.
It was like 95, right? It was like the album was. We were like a year in, I think.
Okay.
And then it got kind of crazy, So.
Yeah. So then 95. So this is before they start working on the second is when you leave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you leave, what did you think you'd want to do next? I mean, it was being a solo deal, automatic, or what was your thoughts? Another group or?
Nah, I wanted to do a solo thing. I mean, I had no choice, I love doing the group thing because it's fun when you got, it felt weird, being on my own, but I had to, revert back to the cover band guy, being a front singer guy, that was scared playing the bass and had to get out there. So it was a little weird. It was weird, but the smart thing I did was when I was in the group and I didn't take my money and use it in crazy ways,
Okay, you didn't buy mint coats or pink,
pink
Mercedes and all of that. Okay.
I'm a very modest guy, because I had kids, you know what I mean? And so the first thing I did with my money was I bought some property.
Wow.
And then I bought another piece of property, and I built me a studio in my house. I took some of my earnings and built a really nice studio in my garage, and I recorded my whole album myself.
Wow.
I had people like Bruce Hornsby on my album.
Wow.
I did a lot of work in that studio, So that's the thing that sustained me. And that's what I would say to artists. You really, really got to understand, like, don't get caught up in all these material things, Those things are like, they come and they go, you know what I'm saying? And I was modest with it. I bought I love cars, but I'm into classic cars,
Okay.
And when I'm not playing music, I'm working on cars, So I didn't value that like some people value that, having these big cars and stuff like that. Stuff that's really not my style,
Yeah.
But I was very, very conscious at keeping my money straight,
Yeah. But then when you record the album, what about getting a distribution for your album and stuff? How easy or hard was that?
Oh, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I originally, along with a partner of mine, put up my own money. And well, first, before that, when I left the group, a couple of friends of mine took me over to Def Jam Records, and I had a meeting with Russell Simmons and Leon Cohen's, and I'm gonna keep it real. I had a deal over there, and I think the word got back to Teddy, and word is that he put a monkey wrench in it.
Okay.
But that's the word. I don't, because one minute we got a deal, the next day I come there, and then Leo Cohen's just asking me all these crazy questions, and I'm like saying, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? And I'm like, well, look. So I walked away from that. I said, look, when you guys are ready to do a real deal with me, y'all got my number, call me. I walked away from it. Because I thought it was weird that it was certain things that came up in the meeting that sounded like monkey wrench. You know what I mean? So I said, I don't want no part of that stuff. So I said, let me go home, rethink this out, revamp. And then I went the independent route. Because I figured like this. I said, well, everybody know me from Blackstreet, they know my sound. Let me try this. So I went out, took 10 grand, did my own CD. And lo and behold, before I could sell 1,000 CDs, I got a call from a guy named Ken Wilson. Big shout out to Ken. Ken called me and my partner. He said, listen, I want to set up a meeting with you guys in New York. So we flew down to his penthouse, sit down, talk. And the whole Ken Wilson ran the black music department at MCA Records.
Oh.
Bad dude. I learned so much from this guy. He had a lot to do with bringing Casey and JoJo back. He's him, Eddie Sims. These guys are like legends in the music business. So, long story short, Ken signed me to his independent deal. Gave me, it was incredible. I made tons of money from that album. It was like, wow. So what they did was they said, listen, we love what you're doing, bam, bam, bam. Here's a budget for this. Just stop selling that album. Because the original album was green. It was a green album. And all they did was took the songs from that album and repackaged them in their album.
Wow.
So he had a label with BMG. BMG was the distributors back then.
Yeah.
And it was me, the girl Olivia that was with 50 Cent.
Okay.
She was signed to his label, and the two big guys. What do they call themselves? They always in the movies. The one that was in the movie with the clumps with Eddie Murphy. It was called Big Time and something. I forgot the movie. So they signed them to a label. They would get ready to come out with a record, and so that we were all on the same label and stuff. And Yo-Yo, matter of fact, Yo-Yo did some songs with me on my solo record. And that's what it was, man. I had a good time with that. Again, it still felt weird. I wasn't with the group,
But how did the album do?
It did good for me. Pick Up the Phone was the single. It went 28 on the charts. I ended up coming to London. I came to Germany. I was touring. It was doing good. And then the label folded. So but I got paid off of it,
Okay.
And the funny thing is I'm still getting a lot of fans are hitting it up and saying, hey man, when did you do this Pick Up the Phone record? So I said, hey, it was done, I don't know, maybe one day we may revamp it or something,
Yeah. But when the label folds, what do you get to do next then?
Well, when the label folded, I went back to Blackstreet. It was weird. I ended up going back to Blackstreet. Teddy called me one day out of the blue.
What year was this?
This was in 2000. I want to say 2005, maybe 2006, 2005.
Okay.
It was just I only was there for about 6 months, not even a year. What happened was him and Chauncey something went down with him and Chauncey. So he called me. It was me, Mark, and Eric, and Teddy.
Okay.
And then it
And
went
this was to
south.
go on tour.
Well, we went on tour. We was just touring. I think I did about 5 shows with them because I told them, I said, well, you know, I'll come back on one condition. Well, 3 conditions. When I get off the plane, have my money. When I come to rehearsal, have my money. When I hit the stage, have my money. We good to go. So, you know, we did a couple shows and it was cool. But then it got crazy again. And I said,
Okay.
he screwed up my money. And I said, I told you. I don't care if he screwed up a couple of $100. I was like, I don't care if it was a penny. He screwed it up. I'm out. You know. So anyway, that happened. And then I went back into independent solo mode again. And then somehow Chauncey called me out of the blue and he said, Lee, we're going to do this. I own this group. I own, you know, he owned the name. I said, what? Yeah, he said, we're going to do this again. And I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to do it without you. I said, I'm down. So we all kind of got together, Mark, Eric, and we just talked it out. And we've been rocking ever since, man. This has been the best it ever been, man. Wow. We had so much fun, man. We got so much brotherhood, you know what I mean? It's just the best it ever been, man. We've been touring ever since, man, since 2014.
Wow.
And we've been around the world already, you know. Now I'm gonna tell you something. This new Blackstreet album. Oh man. This new Blackstreet album. It's gonna be another classic, man.
How's it like working with Jay Hart? A good friend of mine.
Jay Hart. Let's talk about Jay Hart. I taught him everything you know. No, I'm just joking. Now, Jay Hart, let's put it like this, man. This dude, he's like that Quincy Jones kind of guy, man. But on another level to me, you know what I mean? Because his sense of melody and feel and he got his finger right on the pulse, man. This kid he's really good, man. He's really good. Such a humble guy, man. And great to work with in the studio, man. We have a lot of fun. We like brothers, man, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what makes recording and that's what makes it fun, man. When you got people that respect what you do and we have such respect for each other, you know. And he knows where he knows our voices, man. So it's easy. It's like, yo, Lee, you sound good on this. I need you on this, bam.
Yeah.
And it worked out, you know. And we're having so much fun doing this album, man.
Yeah.
Even though it's a pandemic, man, we're having a good time.
Is Sprague around as well, Doogie?
Yes. Oh yeah, Sprague's another one, man. Come on, man. Sprague, Tony Brown, all these guys, man. You know what's crazy? A lot of the guys from back then that, you know, we all went through something.
Yeah.
We're all, it's crazy, but we're all kind of coming back together, man. Mucho, man.
Yeah,
man, Mucho, man. Mucho. Let's talk about Mucho here. Great producer, man. Great producer, man. I mean, so many guys are so underrated, man, that they didn't get the shine they're supposed to get. But when you dig in them records, so you're a guy that goes deep and dig in those records and get the real out of it, you know. But a lot of these guys, man, I used to be around the studio and see them work, man. Like, what's the song? Roughneck, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
He was bad in the studio, man. He was really good. And his brother on bass is incredible, man.
Yeah, there's Zach. I heard of Zach.
They're all talented, man. From Jay Hart, the nephew, to Mucho.
Yeah.
And Sprague is very good too, man. Sprague is good all around, man. Bo's another one too. So we got a team here that's crazy, man. That's incredible. Bo is incredible. Production, whatever. These guys are really good, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And I guess what you're saying is that when the atmosphere is different, everyone feels like part of a team. It doesn't feel as if here, somebody's getting the money and dishing it out. You're feeling like it's all done.
It don't feel like a dictatorship, I hate to say it like that, but I gotta keep it real. It don't feel like somebody's being a dictator. And no disrespect. I want to say this. I give a lot of respect to Teddy. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here, in terms of joy and stuff like that. But if I had to give him some advice, a little older than him, I would say, you have to, I don't think you have to humble yourself, because God give you those talents. And I'm sure he didn't give you those talents to get caught up in this power kind of thing and create yourself into a dictator type guy, because he's amazing with what he does. But I think that's the one flaw that I see that he had. And I think if once he understand that and get that right, there's nothing stopping him.
Yeah. But for you guys right now, it's a, as I said, different environment. You're recording with a very different type of feel towards it.
Mm-hmm. And some people ask me, hey, would you work with him? Absolutely. If Ted came and had a conversation with us right now, absolutely. We all will work with him again. No problem. But that takes a level of maturity, you have to, we have to sit down as men and talk about it, because there was a lot of stuff that happened that needs to be kind of talked about, even though it's water under the bridge, it still needs to be talked about,
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what is amazing to me. And this is one of the things I spoke to Chauncey about, was about getting you guys to share your story, because those of us would see that sometimes we see that there are two Blackstreets. Sometimes it's called BS2, and sometimes we hear it as Blackstreet, and then we hear you guys as Blackstreet. So competing.
Okay, here's the thing I want to say about that, because somebody had made a statement and said, well, Teddy made us. Well, I always say, well, then make another one. If you made this Blackstreet, make another Blackstreet. It can't be duplicated. God made us. You understand what I'm saying? God brought that together. And those sounds are unique. Okay, of course, we're older guys now. Of course, you can get some young cat to come and mimic us. They're younger guys. Of course, they probably can run faster and everything. You can get that. Anybody with their common sense to know that, okay, that's a younger guy.
Yeah.
But those are not our fans. Our fans are the ones that grew up with us. And they want us like grown men. You know what I mean? It's like, I always just say this story, and I don't want to be the old guy in the club with the white shoes on. You know what I mean? That's never gonna happen. You know what I mean? I'm a grown man. And plus my kids keep me in check. They be like, Dad, come on. That's not. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna wear that. I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna be singing no songs that don't reflect my age. You know what I mean? But I'm not, it's all about swag and having a taste about what you do, but it's grown man stuff. Like this album is a grown up album, but it's good music, and good music is ageless to me, like Charlie Wilson. It's good music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, definitely. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to enjoy when it comes out. And I think it's good for the group to get your side of the story across, because when we only hear one side, it's quite easy. And I'd be honest, I mean, I told this to Eric that I was very much in the Teddy camp and down with Chauncey camp, because I'm like, he stole Blackstreet from Teddy, because as I said, I've been a big Teddy fan since the 80s. Anything he came out with, even if he just did a remix, I would buy it. So
you can't take that away from him. Yeah. I mean, the guy he was amazing with that New Jack sound. The only thing I like to say about that is there's other people that contribute to that too, like Timmy Gatton. And to me, Aaron played a big part of that. His vocal style played a big part of that, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can't take that away from Teddy. I mean, from Dougie Fresh and the floor, Dougie Fresh and what was the song? The show.
Yeah, the show. He did. Yeah, he did Kumo D. I mean, all Kumo D's big hits. You know, heavy.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff, man. You know.
But but getting back to that, it's one of the things where because if you followed him and he Blackstreet leaves, and there is the sense of, oh, these guys have stolen my stuff. Now he hasn't said that. I have not heard him say that. But as a fan, you're like, how come these guys have taken the name? Well, we shouldn't support them. So that's why it's been really good and important to hear from you guys, so that we can see, okay, actually, you know, you guys have been hurt in different ways, but you're not holding on to that. You're just coming together and coming to create good music and give us a good show when touring can get back. And I think it's what I want. Hopefully, the viewers and the fans could appreciate that you guys, all you guys wanted to ever do was to record and have fun and tour. But when things weren't in place to make it possible, it caused animosity. But now things are in a better place where we can actually appreciate seeing you guys live than we've ever seen you in a long time. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna, at some point we're gonna do some type of documentary where people can really get in depth with actually what happened. They can see the whole thing from start to end, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I want to say this: like originally, the group was Blackstreet featuring Teddy.
Baby Be Mine, yeah, I remember that.
We were our own, and that's what it was. But as it's some kind of weird move, he integrated where he's in the group, which is it's a little deep. You're probably going to hear more how that happened in the documentary. Okay. I can't really spill the beans on it, but I mean, we're here for the fans, man. That's
and that's the important part. You know, I did as a fan of Teddy, I did think that because he came out with Baby Mine, they were doing all the remixes, and I did think that he should have just let you guys and focused on just his production.
Yes.
But it was because we felt that when you're part of a group, you are hamstrung, because he missed out on just churning out music and stuff, being part of the group. But you know, that's history. I think before we go, there are two parts, but the first is always, and I always ask all my guests that if you were stuck on an elevator and they said, look, it'll take up a couple of hours before we can get you out, but we can put a movie on for you to watch while we get you out, what would you request?
What would I request? Okay. There's a movie called The Idolmaker by Ray Sharkey.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why I like that movie. It's a real old movie. I happened to be, you know, one night I couldn't sleep and I was watching a black and white movie, and this guy Ray Sharkey, he was showing how it's showing how he was creating as artist, and that movie always still stuck with me, man.
Wow. Okay. The Idolmaker, Ray Sharkey. But they're about to put on the movie, but he said, look, it'll take a few seconds, of a minute or two. We can play a song for you before we get it set up. What song would you request to listen to?
Like any song?
Any song, yeah. I mean, any song that you'd think, you know, if this is my last song, this will be it.
It's a song by Donny Hathaway called "Sack Full of Dreams."
Wow.
Love it. My older god brother hit me to the record. And, I mean, the record always does something to me every time I hear it.
Wow. I mean, that's always good when you have a track like that. Mine is always Michael Jackson's "Lady in My Life." It's a song that's so good that I almost minimize how often I listen to it. But
my favorite one for Mike is "Reaching Out."
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Human Nature. Okay. Wow. No.
Yeah,
Tell me that it's Human Nature. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So, one of the things, it would be unfair for, you had your bass there, you had your guitar there. I mean, could you give us something? Because it's we haven't heard your voice in a long time. And especially, yeah.
This is a piece I'm working on for my grandson. I wrote a song. I'm doing a song, a tribute album to him. It's called "Show You the Way." Okay, it's like eyes of a sculptor, touch of your hand, all that surround you. I understand. It's never too good. It's never too bad. I will be there to show you the way. Show you the way. Show you the way.
Oh my goodness, that was.
Oh man.
You listen to that and you wonder why we don't get that many acoustic tracks out there. A lot of fans are saying we're not feeling the music that we're getting bombarded with on the radio. It all sounds the same, auto tunes. We missed the 90s, we missed the substance, we missed the distinction. And you've just played something that you're writing now, which sounds timeless, like Joy does. But we don't get that. And I just hope that you guys would that stuff so we can hear more from you guys.
There's an agenda, man. The agenda it's a little deep. I don't know if you're familiar with the Hidden Colors series by Tariq Nasheed. Yeah. You might want to get them. It's Hidden Colors 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can go to hiddencolorsfilm.com and get those. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I guarantee you, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. This agenda that's happening, and this is why all the music is sounding the same, and everything is like there's no rawness. That's why I'm almost thinking like Chauncey and them want me to do a song like that on the album, where it's stripped down. Yeah, and we probably end up doing it, because just to show people that we got to get back to the real, man. And a lot of these young kids are relying too much on machinery. Yeah. And I think it's taking away the soul of just music. You know what I mean? Yeah. The machines are cool. It made it so people can do things faster, but sometimes, what girl likes everything fast? You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Women like a slow hand. And sometimes when you're cooking stew, when you're cooking a music up, it needs to be serenaded, marinated, and cooked right, man. Who wants a grilled cheese sandwich half cooked? You know what I mean? And what's happening is a lot of times these kids are being raised on samples. Like I just had a discussion with at this we had a little discussion board, and these kids was asking me like, so I'll be doing these beats and da 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 da, and I said that's great, man. But what happens if you lose the machine? Can you make music? What are you talking about? They had no idea. These guys, I'll play a guitar and they'd be like, "How you play guitar?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I do first." They were like, "We thought you just sing." No, I play guitar. So they have no clue. They don't understand the connection with playing that instrument, man. It's cool to do beats, but the connection with playing the instruments, man, it's nothing like it. Think about, like you said, when your favorite record is "Lady of My Life." Yeah, that's Ron Templeton. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, that was some guys getting in the room, playing together with all that energy. Yeah, that's in that record. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So when it plays back, you're hearing the souls of those guys, Louis Johnson on bass and all that. And that's what these kids are missing, Yeah. And so what happens is they'll go sample that from a record, and they don't understand why they feel a certain way. I said, because that's what happened. Those guys got in the room, and that energy got together, and you're sampling it, and they don't understand why they got to pay for it. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the latest thing that happened with Nicki Minaj. She used Tracy Chapman's song
Okay.
and didn't ask her. She just got hit with a $450,000 lawsuit.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, we did Booty Call, for instance. We did Booty Call on our first album.
Yeah, was that
If
with
you listen
sampled
to the
to
melody,
Parliament?
no. Hey, baby, turn around. That
Yeah.
melody was
Dun,
from
dun, dun, dun,
Dirty
yeah.
Lobo. Ooh, I wonder, 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 wonder who. He waited till we went platinum and came and got that money from us. We had to pay him. Him and Roger Troutman. You know, but Roger was cool. And by the way, Roger Troutman is probably one of the baddest guitar players I ever played with. He did a solo on Joy before I did it.
What?
Listen to me. He came in the studio, did a
Roger
solo
Troutman.
on Joy.
The Roger Troutman.
The Roger Troutman. I'm messing up here, but the Roger Troutman came in and did a solo. I said, Teddy, I'm not playing behind this guy. He said, no, Lee, you got to do the solo on it. Roger came in and killed it, man. I was like,
but you weren't able to use it?
Nah, we didn't use it. I don't know why. Maybe for politics, you know. But
labels and stuff.
Yeah, he's a dude. Oh man, I was like, man, let it go, man. But I came in, and you know, I did my thing a little bit. You know?
But how is it? Because you know, as a kid, watching Roger singing "Computer Love" and "I Want to Be a Man," you know, you know, he was an innovator. Everyone else is a follower, but he was an innovator. What was it like meeting him? I mean, but then also, was he cool with Teddy? I mean, Teddy was like, you know.
Yeah. His son built Teddy a talk box, man.
Oh.
Because you know he wasn't the originator. You know, what's the guy? Peter Frampton was the first guy to make it really famous.
No.
Show you the way. Yeah, Peter Frampton. You know who did?
No, I don't know.
Peter Frampton did it?
No, I don't know who he is.
Yeah, Peter Frampton.
Okay.
Well, okay. Peter Frampton did an album called Live something. He's a rock dude. He did a song called "I Want You to Show Me the Way," and he had he had that sound on it. He was the first guy I heard saying, and that was way before Roger Troutman. And then Roger just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That guy. Not only was he great with that, he was great on keyboards, man.
Yeah.
And guitar, he was a beast, man.
Wow. So he had a solo on Joy, but what would have? How would have? What part would have? Because was it before the orchestra? Was it the part where the orchestra came in that he would have done? Or
no. The track was done. Yes. No, we already had orchestra on it, but he came in when Teddy was mixing the song before I put my guitar part down.
No, that was you playing the guitar, yeah.
Yeah, this was before the orchestra. So he came in because he was doing a show like about 10 minutes from the studio at a club called the Broadways. And he came because he was doing these nightclub shows, man. He came down there, man, and was killing it, man. So he came in when we were mixing Joy. It was him there and what's the girl did
Sherry Mother?
Cheryl Lynn was in the studio with us too. Cheryl Lynn, she was in the studio because Teddy did a remix for her or something.
Yeah, okay,
and,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know we did Tom Jones too, right? You know,
yes, the lead something, get the lead and swing it or something.
Yeah. We did I co-wrote 2 songs on it out.
Oh.
Okay. Fly Away. A song called Fly Away.
Yeah, Fly Away, yeah.
Yeah, Tom was a beast in the studio, man. He came in there and knocked it out, man. Like 1 tape, like 2 tapes, I want to say. He was on his game, man.
But then that's I mean he did Kiss, the which was big here in the UK. He's about 90 years old, but you know he's always had that powerful voice. But what was he like in the recording process? And
he was cool, man. He came in and he was, because Tom respect what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he came in and it was a cool vibe, man. got his lyrics, man, and sat down and went over them and went in the booth and knocked them down, man.
Wow.
And we went out to eat, man, and cracked jokes and everything, man. It was a lot of fun, man. He was a lot of fun. Matter of fact, Mick from the
Rolling
System.
Stone? Okay, no.
Mick Murphy from the group The System.
Okay.
They made the song "Don't Disturb This Groove."
Okay, no.
For your time out. But anyway, those guys, Mick, he co-wrote with us on that stuff, and we all hung out, man. It was real cool, man.
Wow.
I mean, I because I'm a student of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Came and I kind of knew some of his early stuff, from the Fresh Prince. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not unusual.
Yeah. So I said, that's the Fresh Prince guy,
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah, it was cool.
yeah, I think the amazing part that you mentioned was about Roger Troutman, because I never knew that him and Teddy would met, because the last we saw him major was California Love, and but having him coming in and do a guitar solo when we know him for his talk box and
He played through the whole song, man. He came in and picked up the guitar and started playing. I was like, yo, man, this guy, he was killing it, man. I was like, whoa. And he did a solo, man. It's like, nah, he said, yeah, nah, you do it, you do it, young blood. Young blood,
Wow.
all right.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
he's bad boy, man. Bad boy, man.
My goodness, it's been great, and just hearing having you reminisce and stuff, and and I like how diplomatic you have been about things have always we always have these ups and downs, but that I'm not this is not TVN or TNV. We're not looking for disgusting, but what we're interested in is stuff like that, talking about Roger coming in and Tom Jones, that kind of stuff really gets the imaginations going, like, wow, what was it like just to be a fly on the wall, to see legends meeting up?
We had Patti LaBelle. We sang on Patty's record too.
So you had All This Love, and you had
Force and everything, man.
Yeah, but how was that? Because Sprout gave me his account as to how recording with her and bringing and eating the food later on. But how was that like seeing her coming in?
Well, we kind of knew Patti. Patti was like, "Yo, you better sing." That's her whole thing. She come in and she cooked for us and everything. She got a little pissed off at Teddy though, because he had her sitting in the hotel a long time. You don't do that to Patti. You know what I mean? Patti come to town. You get a chauffeur. She's the queen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she said, "I'm never gonna sing. I'm never gonna record him again. No way." She was just like your aunt or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's.
But she can cook, man. She came in. Because we had a kitchen in the studio. Yeah. Man, she laid it down for us, man.
My goodness. My goodness. Who else were you impressed to see during those days before?
Will Smith. Will Smith came in and did something. Will Smith.
Oh yeah, for I'm looking for the one in the one.
He did the Tell Me. He used that track. Do you still care? He rapped over the music of that track.
Oh, I thought he was I'm looking for the one who's something like that.
No, I think it was that track.
You can feel the same way too. Looking.
Do you feel the same way
too? Yeah. That was okay. Okay.
Heavy D was my homeboy, man. Heavy was a lot of fun in the studio with Heavy. Believe it or not, remember Orange Juice Jones?
Yeah, is he the one I sang In the Rain? In the Rain, yeah.
We hung out. Orange Juice came to the studio. He put me onto a lot of game about the music business. That guy is very smart. Yeah. Wow. Mtume came down.
Amazing producer, right? Amazing.
Yeah. Juicy Fruit. You, Him, and Me, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I knew him through my god brother, kind of used to play in a group called Everyday People. His name Hunter Hayes. He had some big house records back in the day. And with CC Rogers, you know those guys?
No.
They big house guys, you know.
Okay.
So I knew Mtume's from Newark, New Jersey and stuff like that. So he
Okay.
came down and we hung out, took him out to dinner, and we just, because I like to talk to those older guys because they know.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from those guys, man. Yeah.
And were they coming around just because you guys were working and you had a studio and they just wanted to say what's up, or were they contributing vocally?
Well, a lot of people was intrigued with Teddy's production style.
Okay.
And what was interesting, man? We were in the studio with Michael.
Michael who?
Michael Jackson.
He came down to do what?
Michael wanted to meet me because I did a version of, on Joy. I did a version of Joy, a remix where I did the hook from I Can't Help It If I Wanted To.
Yeah.
Help it. She's giving me joy. And he loved it. They thought it was a sample. And we had this manager named Harvey Austin. He talked real crazy. This motherfucker, this motherfucker. He's a funny guy. So the record company called Harvey and said, Harvey, y'all can't use Michael Jackson's voice. That's a sample. He said, motherfucker, there ain't no motherfucker Michael Jackson. Motherfucker, leave it, that motherfucker sounds just like him. What the fuck you talking about? He's a funny guy, right? Yeah, Harvey he was hilarious, man. He looks like Chubby Checkers, right? Hilarious, man, this guy. So anyway, Mike, we were getting ready to go on tour with Snoop Dogg, Jodeci, who else was on that tour? I think it was, I forgot, SWV, I think was on the tour. It was supposed to be the biggest tour of the summer. And I think Jodeci was coming on stage with a Mack truck and Snoop didn't like it, so Good Night canceled the whole tour. And so we were working in the studio. This phone like I could want to cut off. I'm gonna get you this story. One second. Okay, there we go. You see me here?
Yeah, I can see it.
But anyway, so we're in the studio. Michael wanted to meet me. Biggie Smalls was downstairs from us, and Teddy. We were supposed to go on tour, so Mike said, "No, I got to get this album done." So he had the Hit Factory build him a studio on the top floor so Teddy can be there to record this album. They put the studio together in 8 days.
Wow.
And he spared no expense. So we had round the clock gophers, anything we want to do, because we was rehearsing down the street.
Okay.
So crazy. So anyway, Mike said, I want to meet your guy. So he wanted to meet me. And that was the highlight for me. Me meeting Michael Jackson. I'm in the room with Michael Jackson. I'm like, right here. Shaking his hand. I'm shaking Mike's hand. He's like talking to me like, and the most interesting thing I saw was he had a guy in the room, right? And this guy sat back and he would write everything that everybody's kind of saying, right? Like say for instance, we was working on a song, Mike would be like humming some ideas, like it's not really a full word. He's like going, summer, and this dude is writing and making sense of that.
Wow. So
I said to Mike, I said, what? He said, that's how we used to do it back in the day, Motown. We didn't have cassette players. We'd actually have a guy making sense of our stuff. That was incredible for me. That was incredible because when we got finished, the guy said, hey, Mike, was this what you're trying to say? He said, yeah, that's it. That was incredible, man. And not only that, right? So the weirdest thing was, we buy sneakers, right? We sneaker guys.
Yeah.
So Mike told me that he made us turn all the lights out in the studio. All you could see was the lights on the mixing board. And Teddy started playing the track and he started dancing. I mean, he was going in like, he was dancing like sweating and everything. I was blown away, man. This guy's, he was intense. So he cut these vocals, right? On the song. It was a song for the Addams Family movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, he cut these vocals when I tell you these vocals was like, I was like, he didn't like them. He was like, yo, Teddy, sounds good, but it's not that right. Let me take this home. So he took the whatever home, wherever he went home, and he came back with the vocals. It sounded like the angels came out of the sky. It was so perfect, man. So perfect. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy, I couldn't think could get no better than that.
Wow.
And then after that, we sitting down and he, you know, he didn't know how to do the bogo, you know. So we was showing him the bogo. Me trying to show Michael the bogo. He was asking me how to dance. I'm like, yo, Mike, what? You asking me? Well, I know how to do this a little bit, you know, that's how you do it, you know. So then he said, hey, so how do you keep your gym shoes clean? I said, Mike, I just go buy new ones, man. You know. So that was an awesome moment, man. You know, it was an awesome moment, man. You know, for him for him to validate my sound, that meant the world. I mean, that was it for me, man. That was, you know, for Mike.
I mean, I told you my favorite song is Michael's "Lady in My Life." So I've always, you know, Teddy's favorite producer, Mike, was #1 in anything. But you know, and I guess one of the things that sometimes gets missed from a lot of people who see him in the later days is that they see the celebrity Mike with the, you know, the paparazzi and all that stuff, but they forget that this guy started when he was 5, recording, and it was a businessman. He owned half of Sony Music. You know, he bought the catalogs. I mean, he was a businessman before people could think about the business. But they forget that that he's probably the smartest guy in the room, even though he's and all that stuff. And you know, but he was that, you know, I think when he met up with Teddy and did the Dangerous album, Remember the Time, I think that's when the black community said, hey, that's our Mike that we lost. You know, the Remember the Time was almost like he was on, you know, Soul Train, and he was almost like, yeah, he's part of us again.
Yeah, he was. I tell you, man. I think because Mike was like a king amongst us, man. Really, and I think it's a little deeper than that, but I think there was a lot of people that resented the fact that he was such a businessman, and he said it on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, he started talking about.
Yeah, I've got it recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, when he broke Elvis records and the Beatles records, and this guy Tommy Mottola.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was, man. You know, so those were the highlights for me, man. You know.
Yeah, I mean, no, that would be for anybody. I mean, because even Heavy D was saying, I saw, you know, Heavy D was saying that, you know, and I think, you know, people who are in the business know that it isn't easy to sell 1 million records, not to talk of 10, not to talk of 100 million on one go, and by yourself. So I think there's a level of appreciation that we sometimes forget. You know, he sells 10 million and it's a failure because of Thriller and stuff. But you know, it's impressive.
Have you ever been to one of his concerts? Have you ever been to their concert?
You know, I bought tickets for his one he was supposed to do here in the UK, but he died a month before he came, and so that was my biggest disappointment. That my first time to ever see him, and I couldn't make it.
I tell you, there's nobody in music that's gonna top anything Mike did. Nobody.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, whatever the Beatles did, no disrespect to them, but nothing like, I mean, backstage, this guy had at least 21 ambulance for people just passing out. I'm seeing people, I mean, guys, just, he get on stage and just stood, and these people fall out. I was like, what the? It was amazing, man. It was magical, man.
Yeah.
It was amazing, man.
Yeah. But definitely, I mean, it's been fascinating speaking with you. It's been fascinating getting your stuff. But it also made the fact that you actually blessed us with a song. It's for your grandson. That's amazing.
It was raw. So just tell the fans it was raw. You know.
No, you know, that's for me one of the best things I've heard in a long time, because it just felt like if you could do this just on a whim, why can't we hear more of this kind of stuff? You know, and I think that's what we missed. And I hope you do get to lay stripped back acoustic stuff on the new Blackstreet album, because
Oh,
it will go down really well.
yeah.
Definitely.
If you get a chance, I got my solo album. If you got it, there's a song called "Ordinary Love," where I used a 14-piece orchestra, and there's a song I did with Bruce Hornsby on it called "Throw Down the Walls." It's so now today. The song it's about racism, all that kind of stuff. It's a really good song. Me and Bruce just recently was talking about, I don't know, just doing something for the fans for that song, you know. So anyway.
What you'd find out is when I'm putting out segments, editing, because we've been on for about an hour and a half, so I'll tend to bring out 20 minutes and stuff. But
Yeah,
I will find that track and include it in the interview, and so they can, as you said it, then it'll cut straight to the music, and then it's like, yeah. So definitely do that, and also, yeah. I mean, it's because it's. I guess it's good to know that there's a side outside of the group. The group is great that you're in the group, but you know, after in between that, you did a lot of different stuff, and it's good that we can go back and appreciate and reflect on it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I appreciate
it. Man, this has been fun, man. It's fun.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.